Okay, family. I'm Theron Forshee, and I'm here with Dr. Myrna Roberts, who is actually talking about reversing the diaspora. And it sounds like you think you can reverse the effects of slavery by reversing the diaspora. Is that correct?
Well, in a way, Theron, I think that our struggles and the great things, our delights, will always be a part of us. It's interwoven into our story and who we are. But even still, the way out of this nightmare, the African American nightmare, the way out is back through. So the way out is back through is actually a call to face our past, to confront the challenges and experiences head on rather than avoiding them, running from them. By doing so, we can unwind or unravel the complexities of our shared experiences, the complexities of the story of what has happened to us.
So this process of unraveling and unwinding is not just about looking back, but it's about transforming that understanding into a force for healing emotionally, spiritually, and even how we pivot moving forward.
That's right.
Our bad experiences don't have to define us in a negative way. Rather, they can provide us with invaluable insight and strength as we build a new, more mindful lifestyle.
Right. It's about turning what was once painful into a foundation for new growth and positive change. I believe in the potential for healing and renewal through this approach, and that's because what has happened to us in the United States, by and large, happened to us. We didn't do it. The shame is not ours. But anyway, in conjunction with that, I'm saying that in the African diaspora to the west, strands of the seed of Judah, a small remnant compared to the other tribes, where the other tribes went, a small strand moved south to Ethiopia, Kenya, Tanzania, and over centuries, remnants of that seed started to move across Africa, then across the Atlantic Ocean, and then westward across the United States after slavery. So our story will begin in Los Angeles on the west coast of the United States.
Okay, so you're saying although some people put their roots down in certain places,
right,
others kept moving west.
Right.
Okay. So I went to California to understand more better what happened when African Americans first came to California.
Yes. So, and it's important to note right here that evidence supports the idea that there was black folks in California way before there was in the United States. Okay, wait a minute. So, California is actually named after a 16th century novel about a black queen, Califia. The whole narrative celebrates Native and black women in California, long time before it was a California or a United States. So to be clear, I'm talking about formerly enslaved people from the antebellum South.
Wow. Well, we made multiple attempts to cover the subject of Los Angeles. I went out there to try to put my arms around the subject, but the place and the information, it was just too vast. Mm-hmm. So we can do a whole series about black people in Los Angeles.
Right.
I think our best indication came from an interview where you caught up with Mr. Anthony Austin.
That's right. So I kind of wanted to keep this study at an academic level while at the same time meeting the needs of everyday people. Tony Austin is a retired robotics professor from California. Tony Austin pointed us to Central Avenue for the origins of the black community in Los Angeles. Check out this interview. we're talking about reversing the diaspora. We're talking about going from the west to the east, from Los Angeles to Dakar. So can you tell me a little bit about what you found out about LA and the beginnings of African American people in LA? When we left Oklahoma, or when we left Arkansas or Louisiana and went to Los Angeles, can you talk about what happened?
Ernie Andrews, the blues singer, and his walking tour of Central Avenue. From the 1920s, everything was Central Avenue, the Central Avenue corridor. And that's where Black LA started, was on Central Avenue from Slauson on the south to Town Avenue on the north, and they wouldn't let us go east and west. We only could go to Avalon on the west and Alameda on the east. And so it was an actual corridor. That was our great migration from 1920. It was a remarkable migration, and they were from the Bible Belt, and that's why we have so many churches in LA. I always wonder where all these churches come from. They came west. Others went north to St. Louis, Chicago, and Detroit, and on New York, Philadelphia. But this group came west. They were a remarkable group. They were very industrious people. I've never seen people so full of energy. They came here in the 20s, and they just walked in ready to go. And these people, like I said, Myrna, they were quality people that came here. They were spiritual, hardworking, smart, a lot of dignity and reputation, and just quality people. I miss all of them.
Right.
They became ministers, doctors, dentists, teachers. They made great strides when they made it here. Even though they were limited to the Central Avenue corridor, they got busy. DeVita was instrumental in getting the Martin Luther King Hospital built in Watts. She was definitely an activist during the Watts riot and after the Watts riot. That's what I'm talking about. These people came here and opened up LA. Because there was segregation, we don't like to admit it, but there was a kind of a covert segregation. We like to pretend there was no segregation, but there was. But when the Southerners got here, they didn't put up with it. They said, "Oh no, we haven't come this far to be segregated. You're gonna have to open up some opportunities and share, especially in housing." Byron Rumford, who wrote the legislation, he was in the state assembly. He wrote the legislation for the Rumford Fair Housing in I think it was around 1965, 67, somewhere in there, for anti-discrimination in housing. And like I said, these people were busy. They got things done. Byron Rumford. If it weren't for him, I wouldn't be in, I wouldn't have been teaching in a white community.
Right.
These people really opened things up.
Right.
And we have to give them credit.
Yes, Mr. Anthony Austin said things in words like industrious,
right,
full of energy, quality. I love that because it describes the tenacity in people that I can relate to.
Right. To get a good feeling, the total experience for what Tony Austin was talking about, you should click on the Ernie Andrews video below. Also, this was only a short segment of what Tony Austin said. The link to that full interview is also below.
Wow. Well, traveling east, I drove through the Mojave Desert. And while driving, I was so reminded of what our ancestors had to go through as they migrated toward that whole direction.
Desert.
Because the desert is hot, the terrain is unforgiving,
Right.
and just the trip is a hard trip to make.
Right.
But going through the Mojave Desert, I journeyed on and I went to the west side of Las Vegas. And while I was there, I got a chance to catch up with my youngest son, Justin, who was actually born in Vegas. And I also caught up with some power brokers from the west side of Las Vegas. And the west side of Las Vegas is the place where the black entertainers back in the day were allowed to stay, sleep, and eat, but they didn't have those same accommodations on the fabulous Las Vegas Strip because of their race.
Sammy, all the people that we grew up admiring.
Yes. Eartha Kitt and them, those people.
I'm glad you caught up with your son and other people. Close kin, distant kin, and fictive kin are all very important when researching your heritage. And
Fictive kin?
Your fictive kin, those are the people that you pick up along the way, your play cousins, your auntie is really not your blood relative. And some people even embrace their pets. It's really who's in your culture and what's in your culture, who you embrace. And all of that is very, very important when you're researching your heritage. You don't want to overlook any of that. You're laughing because people have pets, but what, like Native American people or people who live close to the earth, they have special places for their animals.
Yeah, that's so true. Well, remember, our only real question in this investigation is, who are we for real? So next time, we're going to take you to the historic west side of Las Vegas.
I can't wait. See you later.
Come join us.
Bye.